I want to give you a warning. For some of you, you're going to get mad off of this video. But for those of you that follow me and have been following me for a little bit, we're going to speak the truth here today. Take a look at this clip from this false prophet, and then we're going to talk.
We need to watch Ron DeSantis because the Lord is going to use him in a powerful way. I had several years ago a vision that I went into where I saw two palm trees, and I saw one of them was planted in California, the other one in Florida. And I said, Lord, what is this, these two palm trees? He said, this palm tree from California is Ronald Regan. This palm tree that is in Florida is Ron DeSantis. He said, Ron DeSantis or Ronald DeSantis is the second, has an anointing similar to Ronald Regan. And I saw Ron DeSantis as a tree of righteousness, that palm tree. And I saw it uprooted from Florida and brought to Washington, D.C. and planted in Washington, D.C. And as the storms came, he was not moved.
That's right.
There's something about Ron DeSantis that we need to begin to pray for. We need to begin to look at, because his ultimate future is to have a position in the United States as the president and be planted in Washington, D.C. And he would be like a Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, this guy you see, Charlie Shamp, or whatever, I call him Stamp, or whatever, this guy's a fraud. Some of you may have not heard of him. I believe I may have talked about him one time, but he makes videos, Destiny something is his channel or so, but he's these prophecies, he was part of the Trump prophecy stuff. He makes these stuff, he goes around, and you see there in that video who he's sitting with. For those of you that may not know, he's sitting with Jim Bakker, the fraud of frauds. This guy, Jim Bakker, is, I believe, is like 83 years old. He's been to prison for fraud and all kinds of scandal, sexual, all of this stuff. He was so bad that the Jerry Falwell Sr. wanted nothing to do with them at the time. And speaking of Jerry Falwell Sr., which has passed away, and of course you know his son, Jerry Falwell Jr., had the scandal at Liberty University. Jerry Falwell has laid this foundation of wanting to infiltrate the politics in the political arena, him and his buddies. And they finally, even though he's been dead and gone for a while, these people, this new nationalism movement, have stepped in and carried the mantle for Jerry Falwell and his people. And here they are, as they have infiltrated the political world and got what they wanted, sold their souls. Back the 15, 16, and throughout, they had sold their souls, made a deal with the devil. And here we are now. These prophets, these false prophets, won't let it go. The evangelicals. There's a study that just came out showing that half of evangelicals, that the evangelicals support Christian nationalism. That's sick. Half. They wanted this way of our way or no way. And here's the funny thing. This is where some people get mad because they'll say, oh, you're a Democrat or whatever. This is what they do. The problem is, okay, so you have the Democratic side. They got this whole different agenda, and we know it's wild and a lot of things that they do. Not everything, though, that doesn't line up with the scriptures, with a whole lot of this, crazy stuff and I'm not going to get in all of it, but you know what it is, some of it. And then there's other good that comes from the Democratic side as far as wanting to help the poor, wanting to, do certain things that the other side may not want to do, but then the other side, the right side, the Republican side, have their things, certain things that they want to do that, independent, keep government out of things and all of this stuff. But they're no longer. They're no longer, this new group have infiltrated the political world. They're no longer rational. I was reading an article the other day where we're saying the Mitt Romneys, them moderate Republicans, people like him, they're no longer wanted. They don't want them. They want the crazies to run the party, which they do. You've seen in the State of the Union address. They're crazy. They done lost touch with reality. And here we go. As we move forward, and the devil has placed, I told you, he's strategic, he's sick, he stinks, he's slick, and he's now all of a sudden, the prophets, they want to rise up Ron DeSantis. This is their backup. The devil, because Trump's not going down without a fight. You know that. He's got names. He's trying to figure out what he can do with DeSantis. They said, I was reading where he's running by, calling a meathead or meatball and all of these weird names, and I have to give it to Trump's funny when he comes up with these names for people. I have to give it to him on that. He's good at that. But it's going to be a dogfight and all of this stuff. But this is not the Christianity that Jesus, that when he was alive on this earth, and the way that he wanted us to conduct ourselves and tell us to love our enemies, tell us to help those that are less fortunate, and all of these things. This particular group, these prophets, the ones, this nationalism crap, they don't care nothing about that. They don't care. They want to raise the age on Social Security and cut it and put people out in the streets if they could. I mean, it's craziness. I mean, I've been hearing this stuff. I've been hearing this for a while since I was young, and I really didn't understand it when I've always heard some of the crazy stuff. But now here we are. I don't want to sound like I'm preaching politics, but it has infiltrated the church like never before. Jerry Falwell Sr. got his wish. Him and his buddies got his wish. They infiltrated the political world. They, as I said, and now we have people that are in place that want to basically turn the United States into the world into this a total dictatorship where they just think that everything should be about Christianity. I love being a Christian. I love the Lord. And it's just some people, like you say, that's the great thing about here in America. You have this freedom, though it's slowly drifting away on certain things, but we have this freedom of religion. We have this freedom, supposedly of speech and things that if I don't want to be bothered, some people don't want to be bothered with Christianity or the Lord or any type of religion. They have a bad taste in their mouth, so many people. They don't want to be bothered with it. They don't want to hear nothing. They don't want you know what? And people like that, if we were doing what we supposed to do and continue to love them to death, for the lack of a better word, continue to love them and show the love of Christ to them, don't talk down to them, don't mistreat them, don't close the doors on them and put them out there just to shun them. If we were to continue to do what we supposed to do, the love of Christ and heaping that coals on their head, that love of Christ and all of that will prevail in the long run. And this is the thing. So many people, they thought that this commercial, I know you've seen it, He Gets Us, the commercial that went on with the Super Bowl, and there's been some controversy around that and all of that. So many young people, they don't want anything to do with Christianity or none of us because they look at us, you folks are a bunch of fools. How can you say you love the Lord and when my daughter came to your church and she was sexually abused and ended up pregnant, and you guys mistreated her?
I would still be in a prison if my brother, and many of you know him, Edgar Wolf, had not approached me just 2 weeks ago with what he had seen as a teenager that bothered him all these years. His pastor in bed with his younger sister, a t-shirt and underwear on. People knew but were too afraid to come forward, and they have now. The lies and the manipulation have to stop. I was a prisoner and you kept me in your prison. I'm a prisoner no longer. I was just 16 when you took my virginity on your office floor.
Or how come you sit there and you can do someone like this that don't know they're battling an identity issue crisis and what's going on with them, and they don't know. And you, instead of just trying to love them and show them and don't push them away, or someone that says suicidal and don't know where to turn, you don't care. And you talk and just leave people hanging. This is so many issues that the church is responsible. The church has got a whole lot of spiritual blood on its hands. And it's unfortunate because the world has looked in at the church, has looked in. And instead of looking in, there's millions of good-hearted, true loving Christians out there. I believe there's a whole lot of us, we're out there. But unfortunately, the likes of these false prophets like this Charlie Shamp and all of his buddies that we've been talking about, all of them, the Hank Kunnemans, all of these people, what's his name? You don't see him as much. God, what is it? Greg Locke or so? He's still on tour. He's on tour. And there's other preachers that's on YouTube, pastors and all of them, that are linking up with these people and going on tour with these folks. And this is what's going on. And then they come to the city near you and they're talking down to you. You can't go. You go to one of their events, buddy. Some of you can't go. It's in the backwoods of many of these places. Some of it, you're not welcome there. Many of you. You show up. You show up just like Greg Locke was saying. For some people, if you come to my church with a mask on, I'm going to ask you to leave. That's what he said. What kind of pastor does that? This is the type of stuff that goes on. So if you get people that are from the streets and they're searching for something or want to speak with something, these types of people that are involved with these Charlie Shamp and all of these others, they don't have the true love of God within their hearts. These folks need to repent. They need prayer, and we need to pray like never before. Because these folks like this, now they're going to anoint Ron DeSantis as the next man that they want to basically control. That's what they want. They want to, we're going to put you in power because they know that they can play just like Jerry Falwell and them. They knew if we can get, and Nixon and all of them, former President Nixon, if we can get the evangelicals, if we can get that vote and get them on board and all of that, and then that's all they worried about, getting into power. But you know what? The evangelicals have sold their souls because nothing comes for free. When you make a deal with the devil, nothing is free. And he's going to come for something. And these people think that they are doing a good deed by putting all of this stuff in place and thinking you're going to have all this power and all of these things and control the world you want and make people love the Lord and all of this stuff. And it's backfired. More people have left the church and turned away from the Lord like never before. And all of you that are responsible for it, the Lord's going to hold you accountable. He's going to hold you accountable. And there's going to be a whole lot of fire and brimstone going on for many of these people. They're going to have to stand at the judgment seat of Christ and answer for all the souls that they took to hell with their lies. They're going to have to stand there before that judgment seat and give an answer of what did you do? Why were you lying in my name? Why were you standing there proclaiming that you were speaking for me? These folks don't speak for the Lord, and we got to continue to call them out. We got to continue to shine the spotlight on them. Continue to talk about issues the church went away from, expose Satan and his devices, punch him right in between the chops. Evangelism for God is a channel. If you're new, consider subscribing, hit like, coming along for the journey. My name is Maurice Braxton. So until the next video, my friends, take care. God bless.